Good afternoon and welcome to St. Newsfile. I'm Alana Bender. Stacey Hine will have a look at all the highlights later in the show. What can we expect, Stacey?
Well, Alana, we have some Trojan news as well as what's going on in the NHL tonight.
Perfect. I'm looking forward to hearing about it. Eric Bird is currently outside the newsroom to give us a look at the weather. Eric, how is it out there?
Hi, Alana. Yes, it's a much warmer day today as temperatures rose drastically overnight. We're expecting a high of 6 degrees today. Last year it was 4 degrees at this time. The record high in 1981 was 16 degrees and the record low was minus 40 in 1886. So let's consider ourselves quite lucky. I'll have more later on in the show.
Thanks, Eric. Now here's a look at today's top stories. The ongoing COVID-19 pandemic has played a major part in causing many supply chain disruptions. Grocery stores, restaurants, and breweries are finding it difficult to keep up with supply and demand. Gates Guarin has the story.
Hops, barley, and other grains are essential ingredients in creating the perfect craft beer. But local breweries in Calgary's Barley Belt have been experiencing issues in the delivery of goods. Wade Brown, production manager at Bourne Brewing, says delays in the delivery of ingredients and packaging are affecting the bottom line.
The prices have significantly changed. We experienced a 30% increase in our barley pricing here at the beginning of the year. So it's been a supply chain kind of struggle, hurdle for us to deal with. And really, at the end of the day, we've seen what's happened and it's all kind of getting passed down to the consumer.
While the recent rise of the Omicron variant can be blamed for a majority of disruptions, labor shortages, inclement weather, and the looming increase in inflation have played significant roles as well. Experts say companies will have to find ways to weather the storm.
I think a lot of companies or businesses are starting to keep more of that inventory and keep more of safety stocks because it's so hard to predict now with your supply for raw materials and stuff.
For Bourne Brewing, Brown says his team prepared for these potential supply chain backlogs, but it has taken a lot of planning.
One thing that we're able to work on ourselves is to deal with kind of like bulk purchasing and larger size, securing larger quantities of these goods at one time, which allows us to then maybe reduce that cost, secure a full shipment as opposed to partial buying.
With future procurement of products and ingredients unclear for the foreseeable future, consumers and companies alike should be bracing for price increases in an already difficult pandemic. For St. Newsfile, I'm Gates Guarin.
Statistics Canada recently stated the annual pace of inflation is at its highest in 30 years, with food being one of the biggest drivers. Consumers as well as small business owners continue to be affected with the exponential increase in food prices. Our own Kame Mariag is reporting live outside of Safeway. Kame, how are people feeling about shopping for food?
Well, Alana, the recent report from Stats Canada says the consumer price index rose 4.8% in December and is the highest since 1991. Calgarians are definitely not happy paying more for groceries.
Because it's not like a choice.
Tina Peterson says she spends more but does not have a choice to cut down the amount of food she buys because of her daughter's condition.
To feed my celiac child, the price per day to feed her has increased from $75 per day to $94 per day on average.
The consumer price index for food is up by 5.2% year over year. Fatima Azimzadeh has a local produce business and says people have to know why food prices are high.
We had many problems since starting all the bugs that is attacking the crops. We lose a lot of crops like other farmers. So these are the reason the price is gone up. People has to know we have a lots of problem. We can't find workers because of the COVID.
Azimzadeh adds they will not be able to supply produce for a few months because of the problem. The Agri-Food Analytics Lab says food price increases are normal, but what's abnormal is how the prices have been increasing exponentially.
What's actually abnormal, though, and has been happening for the last year or so, is that food prices have been rising exponentially. So the price inflation has been between 5 and 7%. And depending on what you're buying, it could be a lot more than that.
And no matter whether you are a consumer or producer these days, it's really getting harder and harder to make ends meet. Back to you, Alana.
That was Cami Mariah reporting live from Kensington. With the Omicron variant continuing to spread rapidly across the globe, hospital staff are struggling with feeling overworked. But it does seem that less patients are being hospitalized with the Omicron variant compared to previous variants. On January 18th, there was another 3,837 confirmed cases. There is 1,101 people in hospital and 108 in intensive care unit. Albertans who test positive for COVID-19 are now only required to isolate for 5 days instead of 10. If someone still has COVID symptoms after the 5 days are up, they are told to continue isolation until the symptoms subside. The Omicron variant has been rapidly spreading, with more than 15,000 new cases reported over the weekend. But this has put a lot of strain on schools as they try to manage short staffing issues and absent students. The Calgary Board of Education reported over 1,100 staff members absent last Friday, while the Calgary Catholic School District had over 125 absences. The CCSD also reported that only 80 to 85% of teaching positions would be filled by subs, and administrators had to cover the rest. Many students have been absent as well. The CCSD said if 25% of students are not in class, they will move online. This has some teachers concerned about the potential negative effects of moving back online.
The same online. We can't, right? Then there's really no hands-on and things like that they can do when they're sitting in front of a computer, right? And in front of a device for several hours a day. I don't think that's healthy either.
There is a lot of uncertainty regarding online classes, but school staff are doing their best to prepare and adapt for any sudden changes. COVID-19 has affected a lot, including education. SAIT recently announced that all theory classes would remain online until February 28th. That means students and teachers will need to adapt once again if they want to be prepared to solve issues in Alberta, like housing shortages in our province. Scott Krause reports.
When SAIT first introduced delivering classes in an online format, it also somewhat limited the hands-on experience students need to learn and develop new skills. Many classes at SAIT are now exclusively online, but there are still some in-person labs, especially for the trade students. They allow the opportunity to learn how to use the tools needed for the job correctly and in a safe learning environment.
Here I'm learning how to do it. At my house, I don't have the tools or the materials to try it. I just know how to do it, not how to do it by hand correctly. It's just not the same.
In-person learning is not just important for the students' future, but also for Alberta's future. Recently, Alberta was joined by Manitoba and Quebec in having the largest housing shortage per capita. In order to meet the national per capita average in Canada, Alberta will need to build 138,000 housing units. The construction skills carpentry students learn from in-person labs are necessary to help students be prepared to solve problems they might encounter and to build houses safely and efficiently.
So now they're going to be as prepared as they were before COVID happened. And so they're going to be well prepared. We actually built a small house here in the shop. But now we're back almost where we were before. So we're doing all the projects we were, but still trying to keep the distance and keep the things safe.
Some statistics about online learning shows that it results in a lower student performance when it's compared to in-person learning. However, hybrid styles of learning show similar outcomes compared to the people who completed those programs in person. From SAIT Newsfile, I'm Scott Krause.
Today, the Alberta Association of Chiefs of Police made clear their opposition to growing request of Canadians to decriminalize the possession and use of illicit drugs. The chiefs are not happy about it and say it will cause nothing but problems.
The AACP does not support the decriminalization of personal amounts of illicit drugs in Alberta at this time. We do not believe the necessary health supports, including immediately accessible treatment services, are presently available for this purpose.
Speaking for Indigenous policing, we are currently under-resourced due to working off a fixed underfunded budget. This lack of resources has put us in a position where we're unable to react efficiently to any possible negative consequence.
The federal government understands there are further steps to take and are working on jurisdictions to determine if decriminalization of drugs is the best way to go. Some of the steps taken so far are investments in safe supplies, access to safe consumption sites, investments in frontline workers, measures to interdict the flow of drugs into Canada, further work on communities and programs, availability of naloxone, which is a medicine that rapidly reverses an opioid overdose, and better supplies of artificial opiates. Alberta winters are cold and snowy, which can be dangerous on the roads. A Chinook is always welcome during the winter months, melting all that snow and ice. The problem is that slush replaces it. Slush can make stopping harder for vehicles, and puddles can cover up potholes or black ice, adding the danger of hydroplaning while driving. Transport Canada says black ice can be found on roads when the temperatures are between 4 and -4. The slippery, transparent ice can be found on the streets and overpasses and can be hard to see. Last night, the melted snow froze, making Calgary's roads icy once again. Proper vehicle maintenance can keep drivers safe while driving.
Winter tire, you're going to have a softer rubber compound. As it gets colder, it'll help better on ice and snow. A little more aggressive treads, it'll dig better in the deep snow.
Snow and ice is more slippery at 0 than at -20 or below. Drivers can reduce the chances of steering out of control by following speed limits and avoid slamming on the brakes in emergency situations. There are today's top stories. We'll have your full forecast after the break with Eric Bird, but first, Michael Quaz has a look at what's going on around Calgary this week.
You can now test your rescue instincts with 17 different interactive situations in Telespark's new exhibit, Rescue. Take control of full-size helicopter simulator to get a bird's eye view, or walk through a smoke-filled room with a fire extinguisher and put out different fires. If you're looking to experience a new way of taking the gondola in Banff, Night Rise is for you. This multi-sensory winter experience merges multimedia, storytelling, wandering outside to the viewing decks where you'll discover the wonders once the night begins to rise, to give a new and inspiring perspective of the iconic location in Banff. If you like snow and getting out in nature, the 1-hour guided snowshoe adventure is for you. You'll get to explore how Alberta's wildlife adapts to survive winter while trekking through trails of the interpretive wetlands. If you're interested in how trout is raised from eggs to adults and the role it plays on the recreational stocking in Alberta, the 30-minute guided tour of the fish hatchery in Calgary educates you on how they are raised, fed, before they are sent out to lakes and ponds across Alberta.
I'm Eric Bird with weather. Let's have a look at what's happening today. We're under warnings right across the country, including northern BC with a winter warning up top with lots of snow up there. Vancouver is pretty seasonal with rain and 10 degrees. In Edmonton, we're under a freezing rain warning. They have a low pressure system coming in and just on the edge of Regina and Winnipeg, and that's creating blizzard-like conditions in the prairies and extreme cold warnings. In central and eastern Canada, they're digging out under a giant snow dump they had last week, and it looks like with these temperatures, it's going to last a little bit longer for Toronto and Montreal. In the Maritimes, they have an extreme freezing as well, with rain turning to snow overnight, and it's going to cause some havoc on the roads. Let's have a look down south at where we'd much rather be at the resorts. Palm Springs is expecting showers this afternoon and 26, so get your golf round in early. Barbados will see some rain in the morning, but gets hot at 30. Another nice day in Cancun at 27. Get the surfboard out, it's 27 in Honolulu. Nice day for Disney World, it's 26 in Orlando, and a little below seasonal in Vegas at 17. Beautiful day in Calgary today with a high of 6 degrees. We have Chinook-like temperatures rolling in, so a mix of sun and cloud. Pretty windy out there though. It's 30 to 50 km/h gusts out of the south-southeast. And tonight it's going to continue to be windy with mainly cloudy and that Chinook arch hanging around. Now let's have a look at the province today. As I said, we have extreme rain warnings up in, freezing rain warnings up in northern Alberta. It's basically affecting Edmonton right down to Red Deer, with making highways just extremely dangerous to be on right now. In the south, much nicer. We have that Chinook arch right here, which is causing beautiful weather in Calgary, Lethbridge, Medicine Hat, and Banff. So if you're into winter weather, let's get out there and enjoy. Now let's have a look at our 5-day forecast. Tonight it's going to be a little chilly, but it's going to warm up with the Chinook temperatures continuing through the week. Those nice winds bring beautiful high temperatures, and the lows stay nice and low. So it's going to be beautiful to get out there, enjoy the rest, and enjoy the rest of January here. We'll have sports with Stacey Hine after the break.
She is stronger. She's more confident. She's happier. Because of your compassion. Because of your support. Because of your care.
Come and learn the breaking world of broadcast news. Find your passion to investigate, write, shoot, edit, and deliver the stories of the day. SAIT's broadcast news program teaches you everything you need to know for a career in radio and television. Become the next great anchor, reporter, or personality using industry standard technology alongside qualified instructors with years of experience. This is broadcast news. Come and dare to be on air.
Welcome back to SAIT Newsfile. Stacey Hine joins us now for a look at the latest highlights. Stacey, what can we expect?
Well, we have some Toronto highlights, both the Maple Leafs and the Raptors. But first, let's start here at home with the SAIT Trojans. SAIT's Make Some Noise for Mental Health campaign kicked off this week with a handful of virtual events for students to try out. But tomorrow, fans will be able to make some noise in person at the Trojans volleyball and women's hockey games. Megan Cobb has more.
Since 2015, Make Some Noise for Mental Health has been a Trojan athlete outreach program aimed at removing the stigma around seeking mental health services.
It's super important because it gets the word out about mental health, that it's not, you have to deal with it yourself. It's something that we're kind of like a community.
Over the past 7 years, the campaign has expanded to all 17 institutions within the Alberta Colleges Athletic Conference. Here at SAIT, Make Some Noise activities run until February 13th and include the upcoming women's hockey and men and women's volleyball home games, fitness classes, and a virtual bike ride, all spearheaded by student athletes.
Student athletes' voices are really influential on our campus because they're often leaders in the community.
Before the pandemic, the Trojans would walk through campus making noise and bringing awareness to the campaign. Now, they're hoping fans will bring that same energy to Friday's games.
We're going to encourage everyone to make as much noise as possible. There'll be giveaways for the individuals who do make the most noise.
Trojan representatives will be at the games tomorrow, talking to students about Make Some Noise and the mental health resources available to them on campus.
You know, in January, we often know that can be a really difficult time. The days are shorter. People maybe have less energy, have less resources available. And so, it's a really important time of year also to be having this kind of conversation.
Experts say even a small amount of daily physical activity can be a game changer for your mental health, especially if you're stuck inside, sitting at your desk, taking online classes. For SAIT Newsfile, I'm Megan Cobb.
While the volleyball and hockey teams will be at home, the men's basketball team will be playing in Medicine Hat. The team is back to regular training following the cancellation of the 2021 athletic season last November. The defending champs are looking to repeat as they go for their 5th title. The Trojans is currently ranked 2nd in the ACAC standings next to Lethbridge College. The team lost to Lethbridge College in the game last Saturday, but hope to make a comeback in the remaining games. Team's forward and center Talik Ross says everybody still has a positive mindset to get back on track, even though they were not able to train for more than a month.
Coach Marty, we had a great film session today before we started practice, and he let us know we needed to do better. He let us know we did well, and he let us know what we're going to do moving forward.
The Trojans will take on Medicine Hat College coming Friday and Saturday and end the season next month with a game against Lethbridge College. Last night's game left Leafs fans disappointed, while Ranger fans were pleasantly surprised. Picking it up here 3 minutes into the first period, the Rangers turn over the puck to Pierre and Begal. Ayla Mikheyev says the rebound to the back of the net. A minute later, William Nylander makes a backdoor pass to Mitch Marner, and he scores. The Rangers answer back. Adam Fox finds Ryan Reeves wide open to make his first goal of the year. 2 minutes left into the first period. Leafs forward Michael Bunting capitalizes on the large rebound, making the score 3-1 at the end of the first. Not long into the second period, Rangers' Jacob Trouba shoots the puck wide, which ends up on the stick of Ryan Reeves, who scores his second goal of the game. Late into the second, Strome finds Adam Fox out in front for the game-tying goal. Halfway through the third, a deflection lands perfectly on the stick of Ryan Strome at the back door for a wide-open net goal. The Rangers were victorious, scoring another 2 goals in the end period, making the final score 6-3. New York goalie Igor Shashtiv made 35 of 38 shots. This win put the Rangers 2 points ahead of Carolina Hurricanes for first place in the Metropolitan Division. There are a whopping 9 games in the NHL tonight. Matt Murray and the Senators take on his former team, the Penguins. The Dallas Stars battle the Buffalo Sabres. 2 powerhouse teams face off, the Bruins against the Capitals. The Blue Jackets take on the Flyers. The Predators are looking to recover from the 4-game loss streak. The Oilers battle the Panthers at Rogers Place. Los Angeles takes on Colorado Canadiens versus the Golden Knights. And finally, San Jose Sharks play the struggling Seattle Kraken. This Toronto team also struggled last night. The Raptors fell to Dallas Mavericks. Let's take a look at the action. In the first quarter, Luka makes a no-look pass to Finney-Smith, who jams the ball for an alley-oop. Final seconds into the quarter, OG Anunoby drives the basket and misses, but gets his rebound and makes a shot before the buzzer. Third quarter, Donik pulls up from deep and makes the 3. He then walks through the Raptors defense, makes a basket, and then the 1. 2 minutes left into the game, Van Fleet matches Doncic and makes a deep 3. Doncic goes through the other way to make a 3 of his own with just a minute left in the game. Pascal Siakam gets the ball with 20 seconds to go and 2 points down. He hands the ball over to Van Fleet, who pulls up and misses. The Mavericks made one more basket, bringing the final score 102-98 for the Dallas. Luka Doncic puts up a 41 points, making the new season high. The Raptors had contributions across the board, but it just wasn't enough. Montreal's Felix Alcim beat Spain's Alejandro Fokina in the Australian Open. The Canadian won in 4 sets in an exciting and hard-fought battle. All sets went to a tiebreaker. The sets were tied 1-1, but Felix won the next 2. He advances to the 3rd round to face Britain's Dan Evans. Felix ranked 9th in the world, while Evans is 24th. And that's a look at sports.
Well, that looks like a great lineup for tonight in the NHL. After the break, Michael Quaz will have a look at what's the latest in the world of entertainment. Stay with us.
Come and learn the fast-paced world of television production. Find your passion to write, shoot, edit, and direct news, sports, and dramatic productions. With industry-standard technology and the best instructors in the business, SAIT's television production program teaches you everything you need to know for a career in broadcasting. This is television production. Come and dare to be on air.
Fans of the Calgary Expo found out this week of new special guests coming. Michael Quaz gives us the exciting news.
That's right, Alana. The Calgary Expo has announced that there's going to be 4 characters from the Lord of the Rings trilogy at this year's event. Elijah Wood, who played Frodo Baggins, Rudy, who's played by Sean Astin, Billy Bob, who's Pippin, and Mary, who is played by Dominic Monaghan. They are going to be at the expo on Saturday and Sunday. Times are not set yet. Tickets for the event are on sale on the website, and the expo is set to go on April 21st to the 24th at the Stampede Park. And finally, the long-awaited reveal of the Amazon's Lord of the Rings prequel series has been given a name, The Rings of Power. The series is going to be centered around what happens when the 20 rings are distributed and the Dark Lord Sauron's evil spreads. When it was first announced they were making the series back in 2017, it was estimated it was going to be $465 million to create, which would be the most expensive TV show of all time. The series is set to stream on Amazon Prime in early September. The fashion industry lost an icon yesterday with the passing of Andre Leon Talley, the towering former creative director and editor-at-large for Vogue magazine. A 6'6" tall Talley cut an imposing figure which, wherever he went, his considerable influence on the fashion world and his bold looks with his colorful capes, gloves, and coats. He studied French studies at North Carolina Central University and received a master's at Brown University. Talley started volunteering at the Metropolitan Museum of Art's Costume Institute in 1974 when he moved to New York. Talley started with Vogue back in 1983 and was the first black man to ever hold the position at Vogue. The 2022 Grammys are going to have a new location for this year's music awards. The Recording Academy has made the move of the ceremony from Krypton.com Arena in Los Angeles to the MGM Grand Arena in Las Vegas due to the rising COVID-19 cases due to the Omicron variant. The show was supposed to be on January 31st, but is now going to be on April 3rd. The Grammys are trying to be back to normal for the show with a live audience, but there is just too much risk with the variant to hold this month. The CMT Awards will be moved from the original date of April 3rd to the later date that month. And that's a look at the latest entertainment news. And now back to you, Alana.
Adopting a wolf dog might sound like an exciting opportunity, but a local sanctuary says the breed is more than just your average dog. Matt Robars joined the pack at Yamnuska Wolf Dog Sanctuary to learn more about these kinds of animals.
Yamnuska Wolf Dog Sanctuary is one of the largest and most educationally driven sanctuaries in all of Canada. Home to over 25 wolf dogs, they strive to both rescue and bring awareness to a misunderstood breed of animal.
Just being in the enclosures with the actual animal, being able to be as close as possible to them, seeing the different personalities that they had, it was a really beautiful experience.
Lark is probably around 130. He's one of our biggest animals. He's very large, and a little bit bigger than what would be considered a typical large gray wolf.
If you've got a lot of wolf content, they're going to differ from a dog because they have such a small amount of dog in them that they really act much more like a wolf. Because of movies and TV shows, wolves are portrayed to be these aggressive, mean, man-eating type animals, when in reality, they're really shy and timid of humans and want to avoid them at pretty much all costs. So
They ask for education and awareness before considering to bring one home. And as popularity of wolf dogs continues to rise, rescues like Yamnuska will need our support. For State Newsfile, I'm Matt Robar.
Those are sure cute wolf dogs. What do you guys think? I'd love to visit them sometime.
To be honest, I was eyeing up that steak, but
yeah.
The dogs are cute too.
What do you think, Eric?
Not for me.
Not for you? Perfect. Well, Eric's going to have a look at the 5-day forecast for us.
Right, and like I said, it's going to be a really mild week moving forward. Beautiful temperatures to get out and enjoy it. You know, we are really lucky with this, so get out and enjoy.
Thanks for joining us today on State Newsfile. We'll see you again next Tuesday.